and welcome to another episode of Olsem Wanem. Early childhood is the most important part of human life. It is the stage where children learn new skills. They imitate older people and they ask so many questions about the world around them. We now take a look at each development stage that children go through.
Early childhood is important as it is the rapid period of development in human life.
Early childhood is very important. This is the basic foundation of the kids. They learn better when they are small. They can pick up easily when they are young. They can remember easily when they are young.
It begins before birth when a baby's body and brain are being formed, continues through early infancy when key relationships are established and developmental milestones reached, and includes the preschool years and the transition into the early grades of schooling. The development stages are from birth to 3 months, 7 to 12 months, 1 to 2 years, and 3 to 5 years. From birth to 3 months, children begin to smile, track people and objects with their eyes, and they prefer faces and bright colors.
Sometimes my younger baby, 6 months old, she likes sleeping and playing with her feet. Sometimes in the night she look for food. She'll just pull her legs up and put it on her mouth.
Name blow me Sandy, name blow baby blow me Carlos. I'm 6 months now. Liklikor pasin blame. I'm also time I'm grow come 6 months now. I'm looking more liklikor colorful something. I'm so like mankal na kiss him. Now time you sleep him, remember sleep na got tan him again. Na I'm looking more kaike. I'm so kaike or so cow na banana. I'm looking number like sim. Na I'm so look strong na okay some like next.
From 7 to 12 months, children remember simple events, recognize voices, understand own names or common words, and may seem shy and upset with strangers.
Baby blow me I'm 7 months. Na time is put him on the floor. Time is play law something sa style of floor. I'm saxin. I'm sa olim. I'm sa kaige. I'm sa put the mouse blame. Time is stop la long way na nara play like boy blame sa sinsin. Mine sa clevin na I'm sa clep na. I'm sa laugh na sa kain. Time I'm like in kaige too. I'm sa and blame sa putting go inside the mouse blame na I'm saxin na kaige na I'm sa making mouse.
From 1 to 2 years, children imitate adult actions, speak and understand words and ideas, enjoy stories and experimenting with objects. From 3 to 5 years, children now have a longer attention span. They talk a lot, ask so many questions, and they never want to lose. As they reach 5 years, they grow curious about people and how the world works, and they grow interest in reading, writing, letters, numbers. They are more outgoing and learn to play more cooperatively.
Okay, like my 4-year-old girl, her name is Coco Maggie. Oh, she asks a lot of questions. I can ask him plenty of questions where somewhere where you wouldn't like to answer it. Like for example, man blue way, like questions where it doesn't make any sense to adults or teenagers. But as a parents, like their kids, it's very interesting to hear them, and sometimes they catch things from adults.
And they imitate?
Yes, imitate them.
It is important to be aware of children's development stages and give children the attention that they need and not treat them as adults.
I love to have small ones. The first thing is you must care. You must get heart of the small ones. Tap them, love them, speak to them in a way that with your tone, your voice. Love them every day. You cannot, scream them like big children compared to big ones. I love to stay with the small ones. I really love them.
Early childhood is an important stage of human development. Negative influences during early childhood can be irreversible. With 40 to 70% of children in Papua New Guinea exposed to domestic violence, this then raises great concern. Early childhood offers the greatest opportunity for positive human development, but it is also the period where children are most at risk.
We know that prejudice, discrimination, behaviors of violence start when a child is young, start before a child enters school.
Negative influences on a child's development can be irreversible. According to UNICEF, about 40 to 70% of children experience violence in their homes here in Papua New Guinea. This includes physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and neglect. It is sad to say that many children in Papua New Guinea are exposed to all this at their earliest age. The negative impacts are often irreversible.
Violence starts from home. When we start with the small children, we can actually improve their attitude and behavior, which will reduce the violence in the country, because we do more awareness on adults, which I see that adults have already grown and have got their attitude already, and it's sometimes hard to change them. But for children now, if we start now, I think our future could change.
Indication of physical abuse include severe temper outbursts, fear of being approached by parents, depression, and withdrawn behavior. Indications of emotional abuse, on the other hand, include fear of making mistakes, sudden speech disorders, being unable to play, neurotic behaviors such as hair twisting and rocking, as well as developmental delay in terms of emotional progress.
Thank you. I think domestic violence and the impact on the children in the early development is very, very important, because it is a crucial stage in the child's development. All right, because like within the first 5 years of age, that is when the psychological development of the child occurs. So that means that is when the child actually develops their own personality. And like if a child witnesses domestic violence, they actually do suffer. And the child will also fear, become anxious. And then also, as they go to school, that will also interfere with their schooling also. Because like adults, a child also needs to be in a state of mind that is okay before he can actually also do well in school.
Research has also shown that younger children exhibit higher levels of emotional and psychological distress than older children.
Parents actually, if they have more than one child, they actually would know when one child is slow in his or her own development, because they actually compare it to the development of their other children. So they will be able to pick up who is slow. So basically, like parents are able to detect the children who are slow in their, let's say, physical development. They can be able to identify like someone who didn't speak quickly, or someone who didn't walk quickly. But for some it's difficult. So this aspect I've seen like with mothers who bring their children to the clinic, child guidance clinic at the Port Moresby General Hospital.
Child neglect is also a serious concern. Port Moresby, for one, has so many young children hanging around on the streets. They don't go to school and are often seen begging for food or money from bypasses. While some try to make a little income by selling goods on the street, often these kids feel left out.
Olsem, mino kile lo ting blol, marat problem sa kama marat isa buru gol sa woge kain ken pasin. Oleno sa game time blol lo pikinini lo luglug blomi Olsem. Misa looking plan, ti papa mama
corruption come up on amel na alna sa look educating more pigini blol bien needs blo pigini blol na like blo pigini blol also round blol yet na Wanem something ola meki molim kege round tasol lo pigini alna sa biselol to mas lo look blo mi emols.
Yeah, but you know it's good to have a good attachment with the child, so you get to know each other, and then you will be able to work with the child. And I think one of the things is to get the child involved in what you are doing, and also for you to get involved also in what the child is doing. So it's like you guys are working as a team.
We have seen that negative influence in early childhood can be irreversible. It is of great importance that parents and caregivers understand early childhood development stages so children can get the attention they need to develop positively. In Papua New Guinea, early childhood education begins at home. In Papua New Guinea, the early care and early childhood education is largely a parental or community responsibility.
If you teach them well at home, if you let them play and all these things, it helps them develop their mind before they go into school.
Children's developments are shaped by their family environment. Young children develop best in warm, responsive environments that protect them from inappropriate disapproval and punishment.
I'm actually a grandfather, so I think I owe a lot to my children. And when it comes to looking after grandchildren, because I didn't do well in the first place. If you agree with me, I think that's, if you are first parent, you will not do it well. But if you are guardian to your grandchildren, or maybe great-grandchildren, I think you will have better understanding.
For my situation, my kids are with their grandparents, so I think they love their grandparents more than me, because grandparents, they spoil our kids, but in a good way. Some. Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to my parents for bringing up my kids. I mean, my two daughters. They're the best parents that I have.
They need an environment that gives them the opportunity to explore their world, to play, and to learn how to speak and listen to others.
No, me sleep early morning, me kira pro bed or pingini request me lo kam lela beats. Me kisi molika, nam logo bot lo rotika, mol talk mami me pla la go lo Vicent City. So miximo go Vicent City, me pla round no some but 2 hours na bot no. Miximo come back lo ela beats. All swim na me spending time lo me lo sit down look lo all. Me give one this la day and me spending time lo me lo piginini lo bambla round. Me want to bisi mama lo market. Sit down lo market tasol. Now this la day request lo piginini and me arim na mixim all round. Lo interest lo piginini all around lo Wanem mape mo se mixim all round. I think 3 o'clock na mod bambla go back la house.
These grandchildren of mine, I can't leave them and go to work. They have to be happy before I go. So I actually learned that you have to be patient with them. You have to give time. And in the first instance, I will go out and say, "Now, goodbye, Bobo, you have to stay." And they will cry and follow me. But after doing that for some weeks, I realized that I'm really not doing good thing to my boo-boos. So I have to think now. And I started, as soon as I'm going to go, I tell them that, okay, we'll tell a story, sit down with them, and I'll just tell them again that I'm going to work. And sooner or later, they realize that, okay. And after spending a minute, or, you know, sometimes we don't even spend a minute. We want to go, so you tell them, sorry, you stay. Maybe the grandmother will hold them, or their parents will hold them, and you take off. They'll be crying when you're gone. after sitting down, just spending up to about a minute, they will agree with you that you can go. They will say bye. And they will be very happy when you're gone.
Positive parental interaction and influence on children is very important.
Yes, I think many parents should spend more time with their children. Because sometimes when they don't have time for their kids go out with wrong pair of kids, which influence them. And I think the best time to spend time with their kids is when they are small, not up until they are big. When they're small, it's the best time to spend time with their kids.
Highlight how the parents or the caregivers are working together with their children, identify to them that what you're doing is really, really important, because it is the step of in the child's development to prepare him or her for the future, and especially for education. So.
The early childhood period offers a unique opportunity to shape healthier, more prosperous, stable, and participatory societies. The Department of Education, with the support of UNICEF, recently held a workshop for innovative communication for early childhood care and development.
Officials here in front to be with us.
A workshop was recently held in Madang by the Department of Education and UNICEF. More than 90 people from different backgrounds attended the workshop and were trained to produce international standard, holistic and inclusive communication and learning materials in the Papua New Guinea context for children aged 0 to 6.
Best part of this workshop, first of all, is the bringing everyone in together from different sectors like media, NGOs, CSOs and government departments, and that's the first of its kind to for us to all come together, to work together, to produce something for early childhood, because it's for a long time early childhood has been neglected in different areas. And I believe what I've learned in this workshop is that there is so much creativity that Papua New Guineans have, and we can use that to create like very powerful messages, positive messages, rather than focusing on the negative. We can use the positive messages to bring out to our children in the communities as well as parents, and showing them that, you know, they can make a difference at early years.
Equality, meaning having the girls to go to school and having same numbers in class, and also women in education structures, hierarchy, and also quality education. So those are the 6 goals that our government signed up to make sure that every Papua New Guinean is educated. Every Papua New Guinean is receiving some form of learning, training, or skills development. So that's why in investing in early learning is one of those goals. And PNG Education Advocacy Network, what we did was when we looked around, we saw that we were not doing much in terms of bringing to the attention of the government that there were private education providers in this area that were already operating. Some of them around like 20 years, others are 15.
There are a number of early childhood centers throughout the country that provide early childhood education. Jack and Jill Preschool is an example of an early childhood center in Port Moresby that has been operating for a number of years.
Because of this school, we start with child mining. And from child mining, they already recognize ABC numbers, and they can remember. If parents ask them, what is the day today, what is that letter, they already recognize that letter, because it's better for them to learn when they are small. It's the same as when we tell them in the house, get me a fork, get me a spoon. They already learn.
The workshop addressed various areas in early childhood development.
This workshop, as I mentioned, has addressed nutrition, child protection, development, participation, as well as aspects of peace education that will go a long way in contributing to the health, safety, and well-being of children 0 to 6 years old and beyond. Peace education is very important. Especially the UN now with government is working a good example would be in ABG, Bougainville.
But young children who learn about difference before they enter school are better prepared socially and emotionally to work with children who are different when they get to school.
My advice to parents, they cannot neglect or ignore the children at home. This is the best place for the children to come and learn when they are small. That's very important because they learn the basic foundation of education.
Apart from homes and early childhood education centers, the media also plays an important role in early childhood development.
The best thing I've learned from here is about media and children. And what I've learned is that the media has a lot of influence on children. And the children we are focusing on is from 0 to about 6 years old. And these are the children who are who are exploring, who want to discover, who are curious. And what we present to them, you know, we should ask ourselves, is this vital for their development or their education? So what we've learned is something that we miss to do in the media. If we do it, are we doing it effectively? That's another question we have to ask ourselves. So what I've learned is that we need to do something for the betterment of our children, especially those from ages 0 to 6.
Kids Corner is basically for the kids, all right? Well, programs we run are pretty much, well, 3 programs, yes. It starts from 3:30 to 5, and basically 3 programs. So it could be High Five or Dora the Explorer or Pyramid. These are just some of the programs that are on, okay? The main focus of Kids Corner is to entertain and educate, all right? That's the sole purpose of Kids Corner, and it's been happening since 1987.
And that's all we have time for on Olsem Wanem. I hope you have learned a lot about the importance of early childhood development and education. If you have any comments or stories you'd like to share, please contact us via the address on your screen or visit us on our Facebook page. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your viewing on your #1 station, MTV.